is back, baby! It is! And here's something really critical and really key for everybody to remember. It's the preseason. Not only that, it's the first preseason game. We should not get too worked up in our excitement or too worked up in our cynicism just yet. We haven't even gotten to a game that really counts. We haven't even gotten to a second preseason game. So certainly, no Bears fans are going to be found out there overreacting to what they saw yesterday, right? Right? Nah, we already know what's happening. But, it's a good kind of way to send an F you to Nagy in a game that totally doesn't matter. There he was back at the place that he sat there and coached at for 4 years. The one picture of him on the sidelines looking like he left a big dump, like fitting for what his coaching tenure ended up being like for 4 years in Chicago. Speaking of a dump, not only is Soldier Field a third-rate dump, that frickin' turf, that is a joke. Consistently one of the worst, if not the worst, fucking playing surfaces in the league. And Chicago is surprised that the Bears organization might want to go to Arlington Heights? Well, maybe because they want to deal with a fucking park district that would actually do something about the damn playing surface. Oh, it was torn up by an Elton John concert. That right there. That is Chicago. That is Bears football. I personally thought the Chiefs were really rolling the dice by throwing Mahomes out there or any of the starters for any length of time. Like, the Bears stink, so throw out your starters all game if you need to. They need the frickin' work. But the Chiefs are a contender. And they've got a marquee elite quarterback. Why the hell would you put any of them at risk in that fucking shit show of a stadium? I don't get it. Especially on that playing surface. Courageous. And of course, early on, this game felt very familiar, didn't it? First offensive series. Hey, there's a sack. It's a quick 3 and out. Bears football. Matt Nagy's in the building, bitches. And then immediately the Bears, on their first defensive series, allow the Chiefs to march on a long touchdown drive. Felt like the Desai defense. And didn't it just feel like good old-fashioned Bears football to you? The offense can't do shit. The defense, overrated. Pretty much. Looking really good when you have a defensive-minded head coach in his first defensive series with some of the starters, and they're getting roasted. Yeah. Well, again, it is very important to remember that this is the first preseason game. So don't get too high about the highs. Don't get too low about the lows. Because right now, we don't know a lot about what's going to happen. We can think we do. We can believe we do, but we don't at this moment. And I will say is that as the game went along, like, the Bears as a team started coming to life a little bit better. We'll talk more about some of the rookie performances in a moment, but certainly if you're looking to Ryan Poles and you want to see some signs of positivity there, plenty of good performances from his first draft class, and that's without second-round pick Kyler Gordon in action and third-round pick Velus Jones Jr. in action. Like, you had some marquee, notable performances from some of these young rookies. Got to make you feel good about it, in theory. But as I watched this game, like, the first thing, obviously, and because this is true, the only thing, and I want to emphasize this again for any dopey-ass Bears fans, because they are fucking out there. We know they are. They walk among us. They tweet among us. Everything. The only thing that matters, and I want to make this absolutely crystal clear, the only thing that matters this year is not Bears football. It is Justin Fields' development. 4,000 yards passing or bust. Don't give a fuck about the defense. Don't give a fuck about the running game. If Justin Fields doesn't develop, if Justin Fields doesn't show that he can be the guy, then everything is stupid. And you're starting completely the hell over again. This is not a hard concept to come to grips with. People need to start understanding this. Look at the defense. Look at the running game. Look at nothing. Justin Fields' development as a passer. And I got to tell you, like, what I saw here in this first game doesn't leave me pushing the panic button. But don't buy the BS that people are going to throw out there that Fields had some great moments here. Like, even the two notable throws that you're talking about. The one to Mooney felt like a bad decision and felt more like a bad throw that he was lucky that Darnell Mooney made a great play on. The one to Sharp on the sideline, like that was a questionable decision that could have really backfired. Pretty close to being a damn interception. Return to the house. And then you look at Justin Fields and, as much as we can focus on Michael Schofield looking like shit on that first series because he got freaking blown up by Chris Jones. But there's also a piece of Justin Fields kind of walked himself into that sack by drifting in the damn pocket. And I'm still seeing a guy that's taking a while to process, taking too long to react to what he sees. Again, preseason, no reason to panic. But it is certainly not time for me to break out the praise bazooka at this point either. And we've got to be honest about that, folks. We've got to be honest about that. As far as the offensive play calling, it felt like it got a little bit better as the game went along. Although, like one time, it's a 3rd and 6 draw. I'm like, oh, you could tell Matt Nagy's in the fucking house because why wouldn't you in the damn preseason? Braxton Jones, had his moments. You're probably asking a lot for a 5th-round rookie to start at left tackle, but that's the position the Bears have themselves in and put themselves in. And it's clear that the young man has upside. There is definitely athletic talent there. He is the type of guy that looks the part and looks like he could be a long-term answer at left tackle. But he's incredibly raw. He has trouble anchoring. He's got problems with setting a consistent base. Like, there is work to be done there. So, Bears fans want to be excited about him now. Like, as you get into the regular season, he's going to have games where he's probably going to struggle, and if not, get his shit rocked. You have to be prepared to take the bad with the good as part of his development. And if you are, so be it. Now, a lot of other Bears fans are going to be really hyped up about the defensive performances here. Like Jack Sanborn, the undrafted guy from Wisconsin. Like, Sanborn was spectacular, and he certainly was. If he's not making the team, then what the hell are we talking about here? Like, you can make an argument is like, would he be a starter in your base 4-3? Maybe he should be. Like, he was instinctual. He was all over the damn place. Fumble recovery, interception, like, that's the type of shit that should help a guy make a team. And if an Eberflus told you that Sanborn's not ready for the 53-man roster, you got to kind of question Eberflus's football knowledge at this point. Like, what are you talking about, dude? Just saying. But he was great. Jaquan Brisker, they were hyping up Jim Miller, of course, towing the Bears football company line about, look at how physical he is after the receiver had already caught the ball for a first down. And then Brisker comes in after the coverage doesn't get the job done and delivers the blow, but he's already got the first down. Typical Bears football shit to worry about the hit and not the result of the damn play. I don't give a shit whether they sit there and tickle torture everybody to the damn ground. Just get it job done, damn it. But Brisker, no surprise here. He looked every bit the part of a guy that probably should have been in the consideration to be taken at the tail end of round 1. He looked like every bit the part of a guy that you say he's going to be a defensive foundational piece for the next many years to come. No question. That's what he looked like. Dominique Robinson had a nice sack, even though he wasn't really blocked, but I see that burst in that athleticism, like there's something there. I liked how the Bears' defensive line was able to get after it throughout the game. Like, that was good to see. And I can sit there and talk about the different rookies and all the performances and all that. That's fine. But the reality is when it comes to this rookie class, the only 3 rookies that really truly matter are Velus Jones Jr., who we didn't see today, Braxton Jones, the 5th-round pick at offensive tackle, and Treston Ebner, the 6th-round pick. And you can maybe say any of the other offensive linemen that were taken, but those are the 3 key core kind of guys here. That's it. And if you're going to say, well, the defensive guys matter too. No, they fucking don't. Those defensive guys do not help Justin Fields' development. And if we really want to take a different spin on it, not only do they not help with that, It is improving the freaking offense and improving the pieces around Justin Fields. That not only helps him to be in a better position to develop, but helps that offense to be able to perform more consistently like a modern NFL fucking offense that actually helps the defense, especially the type of defense that the Bears want to play under Eberflus, which to me is kind of a dated approach and philosophy at this point. If you want to talk about forcing a lot of turnovers, that's great, but that shit doesn't play that well in the modern game. Getting after the quarterback and getting pressure does. Well, what's the way you help your defense to be in a spot where they can rush the quarterback more? Is you have to score some goddamn points. So to all these idiots that are so geeking out about all the defensive performances of the defensive rookies yesterday, they are great, and I am not here to diminish them. But you are not going to argue with me on this because you are not fucking right. I am right on a variety of different levels, and you goddamn good and well know it. If Justin Fields doesn't develop, none of this shit matters. Period. Well, if the defense becomes top 10, and then what do you got? Bears football! Are you trying to play Bears football? Are you trying to win goddamn Super Bowls? Justin Fields is what matters. And it's the offensive pieces around him that matter the most. Because if Braxton Jones can become a starting caliber left tackle, if Treston Ebner can show that he's a guy that can maybe even push Khalil Herbert, but certainly makes David Montgomery expendable next year. Velus Jones Jr. comes in and he shows that he could be the second option in this offense opposite Darnell Mooney in the passing game. Like shit's starting to look a little bit better. Doesn't matter if they frickin' drafted 8 studs on defense. If the offense sucks dick, it sucks dick. And not only that, because of the style of defense that the Bears play, it is better for them that the offense plays well. The offense gets leads. That cover 2 shit starts to get exposed when you're playing from behind. When you're in the lead, that's when you can take chances. That's when you can get after the quarterback. That's when you can be more aggressive. That's when you can force turnovers, hit big plays. That's how this shit works, and Bears fans should know that. We spent 9 years watching Lovie Smith. So yeah, there are some reasons to be happy with what you saw yesterday out of the Bears. There are some reasons, I think, for concern. I think Justin Fields is a reason still for concern. Not panic, not dread, not throwing in the towel, but I saw some things that were a little bit better, and I saw some things that still feel like the same old crap to me. Sorry, not sorry, because that's what it was. But as much as we could talk again about all these defensive rookies, they're great. Yeah, sure, whatever. It doesn't matter. If Velus Jones Jr. doesn't play well, if Braxton Jones can't hold at left tackle, it doesn't matter. If Ebner can't crack the rotation at running back, it doesn't matter. If he can't get Borum and Jenkins potentially at some point to prove that they're starter worthy in the league. And speaking of that, Tevin Jenkins, is weird that he was there yesterday, but he was on the second unit. That just seems like a whole freaking mess. Those offensive rookies don't develop. It doesn't matter. Period. Period. Argue with the fucking wall. Or no, better yet, you'll sit there and make fucking excuses for Bears football. But it's back, baby, even if it's preseason. Thank God.